Club Week. Brady was affiliated, amongst other organisations, to the National Association of Boys Clubs, NABC. And once a year, there was a fundraising week for all the boys' clubs, where the funds raised went to a central area and distributed to all the clubs. So during that week, Monday to Thursday, 4 nights, boys used to come to the club. They were given a tin, and on the tin it had NABC Club Week. Some of them had sashes over their shoulders, NABC Club Week. They went into the streets. They walked along Whitechapel and other streets, shaking their tins and persuading passers-by to put some money in the tin. More adventurous boys went down Whitechapel Underground Station, jumped on underground trains and travelled all around London on underground trains shaking their tins. And they knew they had to be back at the club by 10 o'clock. They set out probably about 7:30. Any time from about 9:30 onwards, boys arrived back into the club with tins. They rented onto a massive table in the canteen, and pennies and old 3-penny bits and 6-penny bits and sometimes silver, like the old shilling or the old half-crown, and they were all added up, and the money was counted up and put into a safe Monday, Tuesday and Thursday. On Wednesday, there was the weightlifting instructor, bodybuilding instructor at the club, Harry. He had brothers and sisters who were members of the club. So on a Wednesday evening, this small lorry, you could call it a lorry, but it was open back, arrived at the club driven by Harry. Immediately, boys put great big signs and banners up on this open back lorry, NABC Club Week. At least 12 to 15 boys leapt on the back of this lorry down to Aldgate, along the bank to Fleet Street, up Fleet Street into the Strand. Traffic at that time was nowhere near what it was like today. But on a Wednesday evening, at round about 8 o'clock, people were going to the cinema, the theatre, out for dinner. There was a lot of traffic. So driving along the Strand, the traffic came to a halt. Immediately, 12 to 15 boys jumped off the back of this lorry and proceeded along the lines of cars shaking their tins, and on the pavement shaking their tins. Someone then shouted out, "The traffic's moving." 12 to 15 boys rushed across through the traffic onto the back of the lorry. Round Trafalgar Square, up Lower Regent Street, traffic came to a halt. 12 to 15 boys off the back of the lorry into cars on the pavement, shaking their tins, collecting money. The traffic is moving. 12 to 15 boys back onto the lorry. It proceeded up to Piccadilly Circus, along Regent Street, and back into Tottenham Court Road, back to the club. Risk assessment and health and safety. What are they? Because I can assure you, managers and Yogi would have been in the court the next day, and no doubt some of the boys as well. This went on year after year, and a lot of money was collected for the boys' clubs. And it was wonderful. No one said anything. Motorists, passers-by, taxi drivers all contributed to Club Week. It was distributed to the clubs, but to all the youth clubs around the country. 4 nights, including one on the lorry and the underground trains, etc. Probably collected about 2,000 quid, our club. Every night, that was. So 4 nights, I reckon between £8,000 and £10,000 went into NABC. And that was probably one of the biggest contributors to the Club Week. I don't know what Brady got back. I was a boy, I wasn't interested.